Hello everyone. Welcome to our live coffee chat for this month. Today we'll be sitting down with Julia Savonarota, one of our LDAYR champions, and we're going to be chatting all about building social skills and maintaining friendships for children and youth during COVID-19. Hi Julia, welcome back. Hi Julia, welcome back. Oh, there you go. I see the request now. Awesome.
Hi, I'm so sorry about that.
Oh my goodness, no worries.
Sorry.
No, please. Sorry. It's totally not your fault this happened.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Awesome. I'm so happy to hear it. Well, I'm so glad to
I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
I was using another device. I think that was also why it wasn't working. So I was like, I'll go on my phone, maybe that will be better, but I will hold the phone for now just so it doesn't slide off.
You want to set it up? That's not a problem.
I'm so sorry about this.
That's okay.
Thank you for your patience.
No worries.
I'll try that.
Driving. This is what
I think that should be good. I'll back up a little bit. Thank you.
No problem. Are you good to go?
I'm good to go.
Okay, awesome. Hello, everyone joining. Welcome. I'm so excited to have everyone here. Welcome to our live coffee chats. We do this usually once a month, sometimes a little more often, but lately once a month. And for the majority of the time, we've been chatting on topics related to COVID-19 and how it's particularly affecting persons with learning disabilities and ADHD. So today, if you didn't catch it already, we are talking all about building social skills and maintaining friendships for children and youth during COVID-19. So this is definitely a topic that's near and dear to my heart. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm a high school teacher. I teach English and religion, and this is something that I'm really seeing firsthand with my very students. So when we got the opportunity to sit down and chat with some of my colleagues about what topic we would like to see chatted about this month during our live, this is definitely a topic that was brought up and mutually agreed upon as something that's super important to be chatting about right now. You know, in my classrooms, I'm seeing students just increasingly more and more shy to speak out and engage, especially on online platforms. Of course, that can impact the way they're developing socially. So I'm excited to get into the topic for today, but before we get into that, I want to just pin a comment down below. This is our donation link for our website. So not only do we do these coffee chats to share about important issues impacting the LD and ADHD community, but it's also to raise funds for our programs at the Learning Disabilities Association of York Region. So we're constantly raising funds to be able to maintain our programs that we offer to children, youth, and adults. And for this live in particular, we're raising funds for our social skills camp for this summer. So that's a camp that's going to be running bi-weekly. I'll chat a little bit more about that at the end, but if there's anyone who's interested in checking that out, you can find out all of our programs on our website and at our social media. But for now, I'm going to pin here our donation link. If anyone's interested in donating, you can feel free to go to that link or check the link in our bio and you can find your way there. But without further ado, Julia, while I pin this link, I'll let you share a little bit about who you are in your relationship to the Learning Disabilities Association region.
Absolutely. So just to start off, I did briefly hear about LDAYR through my brother Anthony, who he's a champion. I've seen some of the videos, which are very inspiring to me. But my more personal and, if you will, meaningful relationship to LDAYR was I was given a great opportunity to do my community placement with them. And not only did it teach me so many valuable things as an individual and as a student, but it really reminded me of why I got into this field and why I want to be a champion. So very grateful for the opportunity.
That's great, Julie. I'm so happy to hear, and that's true. You are related to Anthony, and Anthony is someone who's had quite a few coffee chats with me. It's always a pleasure, so I'm really to meet you now.
Oh, nice to meet you as well. I'm very excited.
Me too. It's a family affair.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's Julia for myself. I work with the Learning Disabilities Association as a community consultant. So I do a whole bunch of different work for them. I do these lives, I do some social media work, but mostly on the program planning end is where the bulk of my work comes in with the organization. And I'm also super honored and excited to be here with LDAYR and to chat with yourself and all the other champions that I've gotten a chance to speak with and hear their stories from. It's always such a pleasure.
Amazing.
So our first question, because it is a coffee chat, we always ask if you have a beverage and what that beverage is you are drinking today.
I'm so glad you asked because it is a coffee chat, so I'm like, hey, I have to have coffee, of course. So I definitely have to have that. I also have some water, just, hydration, of course, but that is my beverage. How about you?
Gotta get that skin right, that
Yeah,
hydration.
yeah, you know it.
So for me, actually, it's funny you say that because for the first time in a while, I am having coffee at our coffee chats, just plain black coffee. Usually, I do like a tea. Usually, I'll do like a hot water with lemon, and it's so funny because oftentimes we do these later in the day, in the evening.
Mhm.
Or like, yeah, I can't drink coffee now, so I'm not drinking
Yeah.
coffee chat. It's actually this, and I'm like, me too, but today, coffee.
We're on the same page. I was thinking of tea as well, though, because I do like tea, so great mind thinks alike.
We're actually fulfilling our coffee chat format today for you guys. So usually what we start off with is a little bit of an icebreaker. We usually do two truths and a lie. Have you played this game before, Julia?
I have. I'm a fan of it.
Awesome. So you know all about it. You know the rules. Do you have any questions before we get into it?
No questions.
Okay. So for those of us at home, if you're interested in participating, which we please would love for you to do, Julia and I are both going to share two things about ourselves that are true and one thing that is not true. And then if you guys at home could just share in the chat what you think the lie is, that would be awesome. And we will both guess as well. And then we'll reveal the answer. Perfect. Would you like to go first or would you like me to go first, Julia?
I'll let you go first. Start
Okay.
us off.
No worries. So I'm going to do one that I always do on the chat. And I want to see if anyone here is a repeat audience member and can guess. So, number one, I love dogs. Number two, I'm a hip hop dancer. And number three, I'm a high school teacher. Which one is the lie?
Am I okay to guess, or do you prefer the audience gives in their guesses as well?
Let's see if anyone offers any guesses. We'll give it maybe a minute or so and then we can share. Let's see.
Any guesses? That's a tricky one. I'm trying to think.
So it was, I love dogs. I'll put it in the chat. That visual helps. I love dogs. What did I even say? Oh, I'm a hip hop dancer and I am a high school teacher. Let's see if there's anyone who's watching who would like to offer their guesses. We would very much appreciate that. One of the main reasons we're here is to engage with people watching, so we'd love to hear what you have to say. Oh my goodness, my stand is falling now. Ah!
Oh, that's okay. Mine already did too.
It's not our day, Julia, but we got the coffee.
Exactly, right? There we go. One out of the two.
one of a million.
Yeah. Anyone want to guess?
We'll give it 10 more seconds. Nobody offers your guesses. I'll hear yours, Julia. You probably know this because I think Anthony has answered this already a million times.
Oh, the pressure's on. I hope I get it.
Okay, you can feel free to share your response.
So I'm gonna go with the hip hop dancer one is a lie.
Ooh. Drum roll. The dog one is the lie.
Really?
I'm afraid
Oh.
of
That's fair though. I'm a little afraid too, even though the big ones, to be honest, the big ones are kind of scary. But that was interesting. Oh, that's a good one.
So answer. I am a teacher, but I do not love dogs, which I wish I did because a lot of people, when you're not a dog person, they're like, you lose that connection with so many
Yeah,
people where you could connect over dogs, and I just
yeah,
like, I'm sorry, like, I'm weird.
yeah. That's okay.
Thanks, Julia. That was great. So now, take it away.
Okay, so my three or two truths and a lie is I have a dog. My favorite color is blue, and I play soccer. Which one is the lie?
I'm gonna oh, wait. We should wait for people to. So if anyone in the comment section would like to guess which one is the lie for Julia, we would love to hear your response. This is usually when I dance, and it's
We need some music.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. Julia. Yeah, we don't have too many people on right now. Welcome, welcome. We just got someone in. Paolo.
Yay! Hello.
So whenever you'd like, you can feel free to. Actually, no. Let me guess. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that the second one is a lie. Your favorite color isn't blue. It's probably like royal blue or something.
I do. My favorite color is blue. The lie was soccer. I play hockey.
Oh my goodness! Wow,
Yeah.
that's so
Usually that one too, people are like, "You play hockey? You're so small." I'm like, "I can play hockey if I want to." It's
you can.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, Julia.
Thank you.
Good to know. Thanks for letting me know. Now I know that I was gonna say soccer. Sorry, your
That's
hockey.
okay.
Wonderful, Julia. Thanks so much for participating in
Of
that.
course.
Now that we've gone through all of the intro fun goodies, we're going to get into some of our questions for today. And for those of you who perhaps didn't get the chance to hear, today we're chatting all about building and maintaining social skills and friendship building skills for youth and children during the time of COVID-19. So the first question that we have here prepared for you is, how difficult has it been to stay connected for you through COVID-19, whether that be with family, friends, loved ones? How has it been for you?
So, just like many people, I can assume it's been extremely difficult to stay connected. Um, it's great to use technology like FaceTime and Zoom, which has been a great way to stay connected, but that piece of, the social skills, there's such an absence where you're not having those face-to-face interactions, which has made it very difficult for me. Even with hockey, for example, the restrictions, I can't play hockey, I can't see a lot of my good friends who I've developed friendships from hockey. So it's been extremely challenging. And as I said, it's great to use technology to stay connected, but it's not the same.
Right, right. And I like that you brought that up, connection between your ability to play hockey and your social life. That's definitely something that I've seen personally in my students. Like, we don't
Hmm.
have any extracurriculars right now, and it's through the nature of in online learning right now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's a huge piece that, especially students who are new to high school, like the rate
Hmm.
really missing out on, and they are constantly sharing with us how much of a detriment it's been in their social lives and their ability to like see their friends, make friends, build
Yeah.
social skills, all that kind of stuff. Now, of course, we do what we can online, like virtual talent shows and virtual clubs and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But like you said, it's not the same.
Exactly. It's so hard.
Thanks for sharing that. Yes, so the next one we have is, how do you think the pandemic has impacted children and youth, particularly in terms of their social skills?
So, just to also kind of touch upon what you said with, you know, online learning versus in-person learning, um, I think I'd give an example for this. Even with my peers, when you're in class, it's not only an environment for the academics and to learn, but it's an environment where you're able to practice those social skills, where you're listening to the teacher and taking in what your classmates are saying and developing your response. So not only are you communicating that, but you're also doing it respectfully. So compared to online learning, the keyboard acts as your social skill, which you don't get as much of that connection and that ability to practice in that stimulating environment. So I think for children, it's been extremely hard because the more that you're exposed to those stimulating environments, the better. And on virtual, it's very different.
Right. You often, um, yeah, you often don't get those opportunities of like saying hi in the hallway, like being
Yeah,
able to, okay, sometimes a piece of paper, like saying thank you or asking for what you
yeah.
need. Like,
Hmm.
it's right that the virtual world doesn't host those same kind of like opportunities for students to practice those really practical skills.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Welcome to everyone who's joining on. So nice to see you here. So the next question that we have is, what is maybe some advice that you would give to students struggling socially through the pandemic right now?
So I would first say, it's okay that you're struggling. A lot of us are in the same boat and it feels hard right now, but we'll get through it eventually. But some advice I would give to children and youth who are struggling is take advantage of this time to get comfortable with platforms like Zoom and Google Meet. I am not the most techiest person, as we saw in the beginning, so take this time to just get comfortable and use it to your advantage to connect with friends. I also think, when this is just something that has helped me personally, is doing things that you enjoy. Maybe you want to try find a new hobby because social skills, it's not just about communication, but it also includes that self-regulation piece and that social emotional part. So, for example, maybe you want to do cooking with your family or a group FaceTime cooking class with your friends. There's following directions, listening to one another while you're talking and you're baking. So you can get creative in that aspect as well. So something I would advise, and I would definitely try it out.
That's great advice, Julia, and it's definitely. Um, I like that you mentioned not to try to take advantage of those things as much as we are fatigued by it.
Mhm.
Um, when that's an option, unfortunately, like that is the only option right now. So sometimes taking advantage of it can give you some benefit over not at all. But again, still be mindful of like how many hours you really can put in per week and all that
Yeah,
stuff. But it is important to take advantage of those kinds of things to still have some sort of avenue to be able to practice those skills like you had mentioned, those following direction skills, those active listening skills. Active listening, my goodness, is something that um, even those little blips that we have been in the school in person schooling throughout
mhm.
this year, like personally, my experience, I've seen students just totally, I guess, not as adept in that area as they would have been prior to the pandemic. Like a lot of the times when you're teaching in person, you'll have those students nodding, you'll have those students, greeting you, saying goodbye to you,
Yeah.
coming up to your desk to just chat, like all those
Mhm.
things during those little blips where we have been in person have been really challenging to pull out of students. Like we still got to do it. We still got to do everything we can as educators to try, but it has definitely been more challenging to be able to do so during these little
100%.
blips where we're in person.
Yeah.
Sure. And I like that you mentioned like take the opportunity to try and um, learn these online skills. Like, okay, we're on Zoom. Let's learn Zoom to the best of our
Yeah.
abilities we can. And I know for myself, it has definitely been an opportunity for me to get more and more comfortable with those online engaging learning tools, like doing more Padlet, doing more Mentimeter,
Yeah.
doing more uh, boards, like really making my Google Slides more engaging and fun, like all that kind of stuff. It's been a challenge, but all like really fun to be
Yeah.
creative with trying to learn these new skills. So I should say they are, you know, the second option as opposed to in-person learning. There's still benefit to being able to learn these new skills for sure.
Exactly. And I think that's great how you're also having a positive outlook on that because I'm sure your students too, they're seeing that your teacher is modeling this positive attitude and adapting to this new learning environment. So I'm sure they're also going to give it a try because you're modeling that. So that's amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate you. We're trying. We're trying.
Yeah, we're getting through it.
That's awesome. So the next question that we have here is, what strategies have you personally used that have helped you stay connected through the pandemic?
So some personal strategies that I've used to stay connected during this pandemic is once again FaceTiming my friends and my family members through text message as well. Another thing too, and I'm not sure if this really connects to the question, but I also try to stay connected to myself, if that makes sense. So once like you said, being mindful with how we're using technology. I think it's great, but we have to also make sure we're using it in moderation at times. Um, so even doing things that I enjoy, like I said, like working out, or I'm trying to learn how to cook. So, and that could be something that maybe I'll share while I'm on FaceTime with my friends and family. So those are some things I've done to personally cope through this pandemic.
Definitely. I can definitely resonate with that too, just being like, to be honest, like throughout most of COVID since it started last March, my self-care went down the drain
Hmm.
because I found it so difficult to be able to separate Louisa time versus work time
Hmm. Yep.
all mashed in one. And my default mode, which I've learned through this pandemic, is just like work, and Louisa
Hmm.
last. And the last couple of weeks, even in some conversations that I've had with Helga, who you know, the executive director at LDAYR, I've really come to a place where like I can't do that anymore.
Hmm.
So it's really, although it, like the pandemic made my self care go down the drain, it's also now giving me down appreciation and understanding what it really takes for me to take care of myself. Um, so yeah, I really resonate with that too.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I know, like you said, unfortunately, it had to go downhill in order to come back up, but I'm really glad that you acknowledge that, you need time for yourself. That's so important. So I'm very happy to hear that.
Thanks, Julie, and that's definitely, and when you said like I don't know if this makes sense, but spending time with myself, like that 100% makes sense. And I
Yeah.
think that the time we pour into ourselves helps us to pour into others just more genuinely and more meaningfully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think it's not only worth it for ourselves and our own health, but socially, like we're talking about
Hmm.
people and the benefit of our relationships too.
Exactly.
So the next question that I have here is, we kind of already chatted about that already. Okay, this one actually flows nicely into what we're talking about. There have been significant impacts on people's mental health during this pandemic. If you're comfortable sharing, how have you been impacted personally?
So I'm 100% comfortable because this is a topic I'm very passionate about. Having my own struggles with mental health, and the pandemic has not made it any easier. So for me, I do struggle with anxiety as is already. So for me, this pandemic has almost made me kind of cope into my room sometimes, or my home, and I feel I'm like trapped in this bubble. And now with everything opening up, it's caused me to feel even more anxious with how I'm going to interact with people. Like I'm so nervous. For example, I work at a restaurant, so I'm nervous now with the patios opening up. I'm already anticipating that I'm not going to interact to the best of my abilities, or that I'm going to be so anxious that I'm not able to complete my duties properly. So that's something that has been very hard, as well as feeling isolated at times. And I have struggled sometimes with depression as well. So once again, feeling very isolated and causing me to feel very helpless at some points. But once again, as we talked about with those social skills, that's going to be a big part for me to communicate when I'm feeling upset, or even trying to do those self-care things for myself to prevent myself from getting into that negative state of mind.
And is there anything that, anything you do or any thought processes that you have that help you kind of um, deal with these sorts of situations?
Absolutely. So for me, I've learned to speak up for myself, especially with someone who I feel understands me, whether that be my mom is a very important role model to me and a great support system, as well as a few close friends who I communicate to. And even for me, writing it down, I have actually a journal just where I can write my thoughts, and that has been a way for me to kind of just, rather than stay in that moment in that bad headspace, I write down what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and when I'm in a better headspace, I actually look and I say, wow, like I can't believe I was feeling that way. And it actually makes me more hopeful to just continue to use those strategies and maintain that positive mindset.
Right, that's beautiful, Julia. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
vulnerably and also some strategies that work for you. Definitely writing is something that is a really effective tool for a lot of people. So if you're listening to this, whether it's live right now or recording, you haven't tried journaling as a form of self-care or a form of just getting all the crap in your head out,
Yeah.
it's worked for Julia personally. It works for me. It is often a really effective strategy for a lot of people. And I always tell people, especially like my students who tend to be very preoccupied with like, am I writing the proper paragraph form?
Yeah.
And I, well, another beautiful thing about writing is if when you let go of all those things and you just let your mind pour onto the page, it can be so relieving as
So, yes.
so.
If you don't mind me asking, are there any personal strategies that you have used to help you have that Louisa time for yourself?
Totally, yeah. I don't mind you asking at all. I actually appreciate it as something that as of lately I've been doing is I have been recording when I work out. So I used to like pre-pandemic, I wouldn't consider myself a gym rat, but I was quite active. So I would dance at least once a week and then hit the gym 2 to 3 times a week. So I was it's something that I would do pre-pandemic, and it was kind of just
Mhm.
part of my life. Then the pandemic hit, and I just like work, and I would do like
Mhm.
little at-home workouts like every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. Months would go by, and I'm like, wow, I haven't worked out in so long. And then I would try to pick up, and I would try, then I would fall off, and it was really inconsistent throughout the whole pandemic. But then a couple of probably a month and a half, 2 months ago, I just came to a point where I was like, I feel like garbage all,
Yeah.
and I don't want to feel this way anymore.
Mhm.
So I had to shift some things around late. Unfortunately, what my, I guess, default mode, like I mentioned, was to take on as much as I can during this pandemic to stay as busy as I could. But then that left for the no Louisa time. So something that has worked for me now is to first plan the Louisa stuff. So first planning my workouts into my week. So okay, I know I want to work out 4 times a week. I know Zumba's running these days. I know that I can do a YouTube workout this day. I know I can go out this day. So planning those like prior to my meeting, and then I'll plan everything else around that. I'll plan my meetings around that. Of course, I can't do Zumba while I'm teaching a class, but like I'll plan date nights around that, like stuff like that. Any other work around it, like if I have to, if there have been some opportunities I have to say no to, whereas like maybe a couple months ago I would have said yes when
Mhm.
I just don't have the fuel anymore to be going like that
Yeah.
there anymore, to be honest. Like I've been harmed myself so much through this, and I'm just like, okay, I wasn't expecting to talk about all this today, but
No, I love it. I'm honestly, you're making me so like happy and proud that, and I think it's a great thing that you're sharing how, you're actually doing what you need to do for yourself first and then working around that. I think a lot of people need to start doing that. So thank you so much for pointing that out. That's amazing.
yeah, so that's really been like something that has worked for me, and it's helping to record too because when
Mhm.
I write like into my planner, like okay, workout here, then I can see okay, I worked out these days last week and it was 4 times, and this
Yep.
week I did this, and now so it's been really effective to first plan in my workouts and then plan everything else around that.
Yep.
Also planning everything else first, and then I fit in
Yeah.
like my health after.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been effective. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Thank you for asking. That's so
Of
sweet.
course.
I appreciate it.
Anytime.
It's a little therapy session we're having over here.
Yes. Good.
So I have a couple more questions for you. I don't want to keep you too long today. But the next one I have is for yourself. I know we chatted a bit about strategies like journaling and things like that. Have there been any like specific technological tools or platforms that have really helped you to stay connected with friends and family during this time?
So I would definitely say Zoom is a big one, and this was something that I had to get more comfortable with because I didn't really use Zoom that much. And once again, just give an example to explain it a little better. Me and my friends prior to COVID would have like game nights, and we always had such a fun time. And of course, when COVID came, we couldn't do that, and it was very upsetting. And when school was really stressful, we were talking about how much we miss each other, how much we want to do something, and we were like, why don't we do a virtual game night? And we're like, that's a great idea. So it started off as being on one Friday, and then progressively it was every Friday. And, it became almost like a goal for me to stay focused on my work and then have this game night to just enjoy that feeling of connectedness and using Zoom to connect with my friends. So Zoom was definitely something that helped. Even texting, I know some people aren't a big fan of texting, they prefer to call, but it's a great way just to even check up on your friends, say, hey, how's it going? Or what are you up to today? A little text here and there won't hurt. It's always good to check up on your friends.
Are you a call person or text person?
Oh, I'm a text person. I mean, I do like calling, but I'm also, that's a good question. I think I am more of a text person just because it's more convenient for me just to respond whenever I get the chance. Or if I'm busy doing something, I could just shoot a text as opposed to, hey, how's it going? And I don't know how long I'm on the phone. But how about you? Are you more of a text or a call?
Totally text.
Text, yeah. We're on the same page.
Yep. Pandemic started and people were like FaceTiming. I'm like, oh no, this is
Yeah. And I wouldn't get ready. Like, I wouldn't, I would just stay in my pajamas or, I wouldn't do my makeup or anything. It's like, oh, you want to face? I'm like, not ready.
I know, and this pandemic hit, and then FaceTime was like the only way to like see people. I'm like, oh no, this is my demise. I
Yeah.
can't. I'm not into FaceTime at all.
Oh.
But I think it's just that like socially awkwardness that I feel like in person I'm like totally good, and then people try to
Yeah.
I'm just like, what do I do other than wave? I'm just like,
Exactly. Yeah. I totally agree. I can resonate with that.
good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Not the only one. That's awesome, Julia. Is there anything that we didn't touch on today that you would like to chat about or share on?
Um, I think something I just would like to connect, and it reminded me of what you said, was with incorporating that self-care piece into what you're doing as well, because something that I've used to help me engage with my academics and socially and just with my life in general is those to-do lists. And I even put like my basic needs in the to-do list. So for example, like let's say it's wake up early, read chapter 1 to 2, and then I have like eat breakfast, or I'll have like workout for an hour or whatever I need to do. So just touching upon what you said, because I really think that's such a valuable piece. I think everyone should start prioritizing those basic needs, because sometimes I think we have to be productive all the time and kind of sweep that under the rug. So just something I want to add on, because I think that was such an important point.
Definitely. And before we end, actually, I wanted to tie that into like children and youth, because that is our topic for today. Is there anything that you can suggest for children, for youth? I know with children it's a little more challenging self-care because a lot of times it's the adults in their lives directing them or guiding them on how to do that. But what are things that you can share on or strategize on with how youth or children can kind of incorporate that into their, like, incorporate still building those social skills,
Hmm.
virtual time that we're living in.
So, I definitely think, once again, I know it's not the same, compared to face-to-face interactions, but FaceTiming every once in a while with your friends and family, or even with your family members. Like, I'm very grateful. I have three brothers. So I'm able to, if we want to go play soccer in the backyard or do something, be creative with what you want to do. I think even, once again, that social piece for yourself. Like, I actually brainstormed. I'm like, okay, like, what are some things that I want to do? Like, I have so much time on my hands. Like, let's make the most out of it. So just thinking about, what is something that you've always wanted to try? Is it something that you can maybe eventually do with your family, or possibly with your friends once things are starting to get better? I definitely think, once again, just trying to stay in touch virtually, and try to maybe plan for when things do get lifted, so then you'll be able to go out and have a good time.
Those are great pieces of advice, Julia. Thanks so much. That's great. And that's definitely like you were mentioning, trying new things. Like, that's definitely a form of self-care, and a way to build those social skills. If you're on your own, like,
Hmm.
if you want to learn a skill of, if you're a child and you want to learn like how to build this thing in Minecraft, you have to watch those YouTube videos
Yeah,
and listening skills and applying those skills to then your actual tasks. So
yeah,
building in those that time to be able to actually honor your desires and learn those new things that you want to learn during the time that you can, for sure. I agree.
exactly. I think a lot of people think, social skills, it is complex. There are a lot of, layers underneath those skills, but it's also very simple. I think you just have to remember that it's a part of our everyday lives. Even when you don't think you're using social skills, you are. And like you said, whether you're watching a video and you have to listen or take notes, or whether you're interacting with your friends, there's always that piece of social skills. And the more you're practicing it, the stronger it's going to get, and the better results, and more meaningful relationships you'll form in the future.
Right, right. And I will add that for teachers, something that so powerful with my students, and I'm right now teaching grade 9 and grade 11, so two different ages,
Mhm.
but something I found very effective for building those connections between the students during a time where they don't have that cafeteria time, they don't have those extracurriculars, is we've been doing attendance questions at the beginning of each class, like quirky
Oh,
things like, okay, what's your favorite chip flavor? And then instead of students saying like, oh, present or here, they answer with their responses.
oh,
It's
that's awesome.
such a fun and social way to start off our.
Yeah.
It's actually, I won't take credit for the idea. My the teacher with me at the school, she gave me the idea, but it's been so effective in getting the students social during this time, because they start saying like, oh, that's my favorite too, or oh, I did
Yeah.
that too, or oh, I love that game too. Let's start playing together. So it's builds in that like actual community building time.
Yeah.
We don't get the chance to say hi in the hallways, or meet up for those soccer games or those clubs. So definitely adding in those small pieces, community building pieces like that, I know can seem difficult, especially at the end of the year when you're trying to get those marks in, but
Yeah.
so worth it, I have.
Absolutely. It's so rewarding. And I think I love that idea. I think, my mom, she's a child and youth worker, so I might pass that idea to her as well, because that's a great way. Like you said, it's so simple, but it's so effective, because it's almost like a butterfly effect, where it's like, it starts off with one person just saying it, and then, like you said, oh, that's my favorite too, or oh, I've done that as well. So
That's
great way to be creative with that.
that's exactly it. And then sometimes it's difficult to get them to settle down
Yeah.
after. I'm like, oh, what have I created? But it's good. I'm like, you know what? We need this. We all need this during this time. Take these 10 minutes. Let's all
Yeah.
chat, wild, connect, and that's fine.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
That's great, Julia. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today, sitting down with me today. It's been so awesome to meet you. Say hi to Anthony for me, please.
Of course, absolutely. And thank you, everyone who came out to listen. And thank you, Louisa, for sharing your great insights, as well as talking with me today. It was an honor, and I look forward to many more coffee chats.
That's awesome, Julia. Thanks so much. Before we end, I do want to finish off with just a couple of pieces of information for anyone who's viewing. Again, we not only share these coffee chats as a chat about important topics in the LD and ADHD community, but also to raise funds for LDAYR's programming. This month we are raising funds for summer camps, our social summer camps. So if you're interested in donating, you can go to the comment pin here below. Also to our link in our Instagram bio, there's the option or the link there for people to check out. If you're interested in following us on our social media pages, we have updates, we have pro tips all the time, we have program promotions, we have giveaways all the time, we have our coffee chats and all that. So if you're interested in staying tuned with us at the Learning Disabilities Association of York Region, we can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter, LDA_YR, find us here on Instagram, LDAYR, and LinkedIn, Learning Disabilities Association of York Region. So we are on every platform if you're interested in checking us out. And last but not least, I just want to share on a couple of workshops that we have. We have our Microsoft Accessibility Tools workshop next week already. My goodness, June 16th.
Wow.
Yeah, at 5 p.m. So we have partnered with a new organization or a charity that's out called InnoHive to put this workshop together. Essentially, we're going to be chatting all about different accessibility tools within Microsoft. And the workshop is geared towards teenagers, so students in high school. So we're going to be teaching on things like text, focus mode, and there's so many more that my colleague that I'm working on, she's all techie, knows all the terms, but just all accessibility tools. So if you know anyone who would benefit from that, to get them to check it out, it's June 16th, 5 p.m. and it's a free workshop. So I'll be there. So I really look forward to seeing you if you're interested in joining. And the next one I have is the LDA Second Annual Parent Conference. So if you're interested in the details of that, it's all over our social media pages and on our website. And that's coming up in August 4th, if anyone's interested for that. And that's mostly geared towards parents of children with learning disabilities and ADHD. And then throughout the summer, we got our Girls Connect program, our summer camp happening, our social skills summer camp. Girls Connect is for girls with ADHD and learning disabilities and to address the specific needs of females with such. So feel free to check that out. Our SOAR program, which is our transition to high school program and transition to post-secondary program. And we have our social skills, if I didn't mention that already. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Again, Julia, thank you so much, and for your appreciation. I appreciate your thank yous.
Oh, thank you. Of course.
And it's been such a pleasure to get to know you for this little bit, to hear your awesome insights and strategies and advice and experiences. Thank you so much for sharing so openly and vulnerably, especially on a platform like this. I know it's not always the easiest, but you did so very eloquently, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That means a lot, because I know, like, before I was having trouble, so I appreciate your kind words. And once again, I appreciate this wonderful conversation. It's been great. Made the end of my week a really good one. So thank you.
Great. I'm happy to hear that. It wrapped up my week nicely as well, Julia.
Oh, great.
Well, hopefully I'll see you soon in person.
I hope to see. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye for now.
Bye.